A tidal wave of terror engulfs the screen as a raging monster from the dawn of creation attacks the world of man.
Here, gentlemen, is your villain.
It would take an enormous number of those to disable a Navy submarine.
Or just one of enormous size, Mr. Chase.
I see they picked an atom sub to go out and fight this thing. Why is that, Commander?
Could be because of the new electronic equipment, or her speed.
Was she ordered back here from Hawaii just for that?
That's right. Think it's as bad as that, do you? I think we're lucky she's here.
The H-bomb blasted it loose from the depths of the Pacific. But not even the H-bomb can kill it.
Unknown object coming this way. Entering minefield. Stand by, number 38, mine.
Fire!
Go up. Ready, number 12, south.
Fire!
Coming on through.
That's the end of our first line of defense, Miss Joyce.
Then the red alert.
West Coast reels under Holocaust as the men and weapons of the atomic age battle to the death against the ageless monster of the deep.
How do you like that? It's them blamed hiccups again. A physician. Yeah, he can't cure the hiccups, though.
Dr. Jekyll, a duck. Calling Dr. Jekyll, a duck. Calling Dr. Hey, jerk! Yes? Duck! out day and up day, what the hiccups say. Oh, a customer, a patient. I'll be right out.
Put him up, I'll suck you in a puss. I saw a dog, I'll sick up your mess. Sick of It's me. Hey, what's your big idea? You can't do this to me, I tell you.
Nasty hiccups, nasty, nasty. We'll try the scare cure. That's what we'll do, yes. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Hey, where'd the little guy go, chum? Ew! Say, who are you?
I'm Chloe. Unless you and me wrestle.
Chloe? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chloe. Happy birthday to you. Stop. Signed, Frankenstein. That'll be 36 cents, please. When you hear the tone, the time will be exactly 10:02.
Now you're cooking with gas. That sounds me. Oh, jump a jive. Stop that lazy, sluggish feeling. Trump.
There they go! It's Rosa Day. No! It's some...
Hey, Doc. What's cooking?
Sweet and hot. Bazooka suta.
Yeah, Snooky Wookums. Now I guess you'll behave.
Uh-huh.
You don't know me very well, do we? You don't know me very well, do we?
Oh, you broke my little head! Oh, you broke my little spine! Oh!
That's all, folks.
an isolated Pacific island, the Navy lands a party of daring scientists to solve the mysterious disappearance of an entire atomic research team. Strange horror strikes first at the plane that brought them. And then, earth-shattering tremors begin tearing the island to shreds.
Okay, Professor. How are the crabs blowing up the island?
I am not sure. But imagine they are able to send out arcs of heat. They are packed with it.
They can melt and fuse parts of the caverns, explode the materials contained, and bring about the slides.
There used to be ridges there for maybe 2 miles.
Now there's less than half a city block. Soon we will have nowhere to run.
Fathoms deep among the terrors of the mighty Pacific, daring skin divers brave undersea perils that stagger the imagination. Here are monsters with razor-sharp claws that hand grenades and dynamite cannot stop. Nor searing fire and flame, nor tons of crushing rocks, as mankind faces its last desperate chance.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I am your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
We are good. We are good. It is Friday.
It is Friday. We have made it. Welcome, everybody out there. Hope everybody's doing good. See, Protect the Tigers is in the house.
Always good to see it. Protect the Tigers.
Yep. S-Sync is in the house. Very good. Nice to see you, S-Sync. So, yeah, good. Glad that everybody could make it tonight. You know, Friday. It's time to relax. It's time to chill as we serve up a nice heaping pile of schlock, our second course of schlock for the season. It's pretty steaming, tonight's film. Again,
how high are we on the schlock scale tonight? On a scale from 1 to schlock.
From 1 to schlock, we're a shitty monster costume. We're 2 shitty monster costumes. That's what we are tonight. This is a different brand of schlock. So obviously we're in our summer of schlock. If you're a first time viewer, last week we began our summer of schlock with Manos, the Hands of Fate, which
took a trip down to Texas, didn't end too well.
Nope, didn't end too well. Not for the characters in the movie or the people that made the movie, but it was it was not cursed. But Manos was a kind of pretty wild film, which is considered by some to be the worst film of all time. I think we found that we wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, this jury is still out.
Jury is still out, but we did enjoy it. I certainly, I'd never seen it before, so I was really surprised at how interesting it was. No, S-Sync, no, it was not terrible. It was there were glimmers of hope. There was some creepy, unsettling stuff in that movie, and there was some funny stuff, and it was a lot of fun. So
we found probably our favorite piece of wardrobe from anything we've seen so far.
I would 100% agree with that. Callie's in the house. Yes, giant hefty bag. Right, yeah, yes. As we said, the level of schlock here is two shitty monster costumes, and yes, there's some debate about what the monster costumes are made about, or what they're made out of. And so yeah, so last week it was really just a really Z grade obscure horror movie about a cult in the middle of the desert. This week we're in the realm of giant monsters, and so that is a different kind of schlock all its own. There are a lot of giant monster movies that would fit the bill of schlock because it's really hard to make a convincing giant monster costume. And so tonight's film, of course, is Attack of the Giant Leeches. And so these giant leeches are certainly they're not the most convincing giant monsters.
Do they have human eyes like that crab from the intro?
No, unfortunately not. I really wish that they did. Again, that is kind of the case in point. I would say I haven't. We will not be able to show Attack of the Crab Monsters on this show, and I wish we could. But that is definitely it's a schlocky movie because of how ridiculous that monster looks.
I don't know if the human eyes make it scarier or not.
It's a weird, uncanny kind of a thing.
It just looks so weird.
Right. So the leech costumes tonight, no, they don't have eyes, but they make an impression. And so this movie is from 1959, and I would dare to say that it is even of a lesser quality than Attack of the Crab Monsters. I haven't seen Attack of the Giant Leeches though, so I can't necessarily judge the quality, but I mean, obviously I've seen these monster costumes, and I mean, certainly not on the scale of those giant crabs. These are more human sized than that giant, unfortunately. But this movie really did come out kind of on the tail end of the giant monster movie craze. The United States was in the thick of in the late 50s. And
what year are we looking at tonight?
So tonight's 59, and that really was kind of the last year that you had like at least 3 or 4 giant monster movies coming out. They were coming out pretty regularly, and of course
that was the atomic decade.
That was what it was all about.
They had to get them in before 1960 hit.
They really did. They were trying to any creature that hadn't been blown up yet was blown up by 1959. And so that's how you get leeches. And crabs, and of course, Attack of the Crab Monsters was directed by Roger Corman, and so he was definitely a purveyor of a few giant monster movies. That may be his most well-known one. He is the executive producer of tonight's film. So it's been a while since we've had a giant monster movie. I think our last one was I can't remember if we saw the giant Gila monster before the Killer Shrews. I don't know if you call it.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. Those shrews were kind of giant.
I was gonna say, would you call those shrews giant? The
Gila
monster.
For a shrew, I would say that's giant.
Yeah. That's how I felt about it. But I would say that definitely the Gila monster is giant.
Oh yeah, definitely,
without a doubt. And I think that might have been the last one that we watched. I'm not sure about that, but I believe
you might be right. I don't quite recall.
Yeah. But we haven't seen that many. And then we've seen a fair amount of Roger Corman movies, but it has been a while. I don't think we had one last season. And again, he didn't direct this or produce it. He's just the executive producer.
He's just involved.
He's involved. The producer is his brother, Gene. Yeah. You didn't know Roger Corman had a brother who was also in the film industry. He did. So we'll be talking about that tonight. We'll be talking about, just kind of the nature of a low budget movie like this. Roger Corman and his associates did it a certain way. And so it's always fun to talk about that because they're always, Poverty Row was one kind of level of low budget filmmaking, and then Roger Corman is just a whole different style. So, this is going to be an interesting film. I'm very excited for it. And it takes place in the Everglades. So that's, and I believe it's
Florida tonight.
Yeah, I believe they're like radioactive leeches, or there's something
right,
something like that.
There's an excuse for why they're giant.
I believe it has something to do with Cape Canaveral.
All the radiation leaking out of those rockets.
That's right. I believe that actually is the plot.
We're gonna shoot this plutonium into space.
I mean, that's the thing. This movie, I would say, from all the things I've read and seen, it's got a ridiculous plot, ridiculous. It's just it's probably schlockier than Attack of the Crab Monsters, just because it's even a lower level of quality than that. But we'll get into it tonight. It'll be a lot of fun. I think so
expect that.
Expect that. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this movie. And another thing we're gonna have fun with is the cocktail for this evening, because as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail in a little segment which this season we're calling
Schlocktail.
Oh no, wait. I don't have it queued up in the 2-person show.
Oh no.
Okay. Hold on. You go ahead and talk, Evan. I'm just gonna get it.
Well, regardless, it's Schlocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
So for this week, when I set out to find a recipe, I had the idea. I think we've done something before where you put little drops of grenadine in the top, and it makes it look like blood in the water. Was kind of the thing I was looking for. Oh,
I can't remember what that.
A little big, but it's a giant. It's a giant
there
monster
we go.
movie. We have a giant schlock.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, let me just
go try it again.
A little segment which season we're calling
Schlocktail hour.
Do. So you don't have Fresh here to do the chimes.
There's your clean cut of that.
Yeah, perfect.
But I was looking for the blood in the water cocktail, and I found a recipe that looked pretty good. And this was it was spiced rum, light rum, blue curacao, sour mix, and then the drops of blood on the top. But it's called the Shark Bite. So it's not this isn't a shark movie, so it didn't quite fit. So I was looking around, and I found another interesting one. This is vodka, red Kool-Aid, and a crushed purple popsicle. And that's the Bloody Leech. And I thought, that sounds kind of crazy, kind of interesting, but it's not exactly what I was it's not exactly what I was envisioning. So I thought, well, why don't we just combine both recipes? So tonight's drink is called the Leech Bite. So this is 2 parts vodka, 1 part blue curacao, fill with blue Kool-Aid, and then we're gonna drop some grenadine on top. Now my first popsicle melted.
Oh
so
no!
If we want to, demonstrate here, give me just a moment.
Oh my goodness, melted popsicle!
It's
no!
Warm here in the studio.
It is. Well, no, actually, Evan, that's a lie. It is not warm.
It's comfortable in the studio.
It's comfortable for you, but let me tell you something. It gets way too cold in here, man. I like have to go outside and thaw out like multiple times in the middle of the day. It's too cold in here.
Yeah, I was reading about blue curacao too. Do you know anything about that?
I've no.
So it's like, other than nobody knowing how to pronounce it. Well, whenever I bought some at the liquor store, I asked the guy like, "Hey, do you have any blue curacao?" And he's like, "Is that how you say that?" The guy behind the counter.
How did he offer up how he normally says?
I think. Well, for the longest time I said Krakow or something, something like that. Phonetically.
Yeah.
You sound it out.
Right.
But it's the island of Curacao, which is in the Caribbean. It's like Southern Caribbean. It's like right off the coast of South America. They grow these bitter oranges, and you can't eat them, but they're smart and they realized you can make booze out of them. And
Okay.
so they have this you know, kind of bitter, citrusy liqueur that they make. And but what's really interesting is, in oranges aren't blue. So I was
Yeah.
thinking, how do they make it blue? And I was looking into the science behind it, and there's an interesting chemical reaction where they put blue food dye in the liqueur. And that's the only step. It's
That's
food
it.
dye.
It's just
It's
dye.
food dye. They put food dye in it.
Nothing to do with the ingredients.
They wanted to make it look like exotic, tropical, and it kind of worked because you think, well, you got to have the blue stuff for the blue drink.
Right. Blue
It's food
drink.
coloring.
Yes, you do. That's right.
But this is the leech bite. We're gonna give
Wow.
it a try.
All right. Well,
Smells like Kool-Aid.
Smells like Kool-Aid, and I gotta say, I really do like the popsicle. It does look like little leeches floating around in the drink. So,
Ooh, that's really good.
whoa. Okay, that's interesting. Because the smell at first, it kind of almost to me smells like blue Gatorade, right?
Mhm.
And then when you drink it, it's just very like that blue Gatorade I'm thinking of is kind of like tart, bitter.
Yeah, this is sweet.
Sweet.
It's sweet. Kool-Aid. I followed the instructions. Apparently, you're supposed to add sugar to Kool-Aid. So it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had Kool-Aid in a while. It's been years since I've
Ooh.
had Kool-Aid.
I took a bigger sip that time, and that's a little. I can taste the alcohol. It is delicious. It is very good. So that is the.
It tastes like punch.
It does. It does. It's the leech bite, right? That's
That's
name
the
of it?
leech bite.
The leech bite. Yeah, I told Evan I don't think I've had Kool-Aid since college, so it's definitely bringing back some memories of party juice there for
There,
sure.
yeah, but you didn't have leeches in the party juice.
No, that would have been a good idea though.
I
That
mean,
would've-
honestly, like substituting a popsicle for ice, that's a pretty clever idea.
Smart.
It's
It is.
smart.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like coffee shops that their ice cubes are just,
Right, yeah.
iced coffee. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I mean, take note, McDonald's. Why don't you get those Coca-Cola ice cubes I've been lobbying you about? I swear, I'm getting so sick and tired.
I keep writing letters to the McDonald's, but they just won't listen.
They won't. I've told them this is a $1 billion idea right here. You do this, and you're gonna be the only fast food restaurant in business. Nobody's gonna bother going anywhere else. But they won't listen. So, any other fast food restaurants you want to pick up my soda ice cubes? I haven't made a deal with Coca-Cola yet, but
You got to get in with the
pending.
you got to get in with the people who make the freestyle machines, the Coca-Cola Freestyle.
Yeah,
You got to go on. I'm sure Coca-Cola has some kind of version of Shark Tank where they have people come in and
They're
maybe
looking for the
drop
net.
them in a pit when they don't like the idea or something.
There
You
was-
gotta go on there into the Dragon's Den and say, I want your soda machine to dispense soda ice cubes. We have the technology. We can do this.
They really could. I'm baffled as to why they haven't done it yet. But what are you gonna do? Some people just don't know a good idea when they see it. But
We'll try Pepsi next. Maybe they'll listen.
I don't know. I don't want to be haunted by the
I
ghost
don't-
of Joan Crawford. All right, that's former Pepsi CEO and famous tyrannical Hollywood actress. I just don't want to take the Pepsi curse.
I don't want to be associated with
I
that.
don't know.
I can't afford to take that risk.
No, you cannot. But this drink is very good. And I think it's perfect for tonight's film. It's, I feel like I'm diving into not quite the ocean, but definitely some kind of interesting looking water. No, Sweet Feet, no ghosts here. No, absolutely not. We think we exercised the Caligari curse, so we're pretty sure that we are a ghost-free show now, and that's the thing. We just can't afford any more ghosts. But yeah, I mean, this drink is just,
The it's kind of turned purple almost.
Yeah.
You know, with the red, I think, is kind of mixed
Right.
in.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a dark, deep. I think that's what it is. The deepness of it is reminding me of any kind of body of water. So, yes, Sweet Feet. They are our skeleton hand
Special Scream Stream
glasses.
glasses.
Yeah, you see them better in Evan's on Evan's cam, but yes. Yeah, I had to get these custom made, and they cost a pretty bit. No, I picked these up from Dollar Tree. So they were literally $1.
They were $1.
They were $1. Look at that. I mean, come on. But I couldn't find them for a little bit, and they were just at the top of a cabinet, and I hadn't really looked.
They've made their comeback. Season 6?
Season 6. I don't know the last time we used them. Probably like 2 or 3. So it's been a minute. It's the half-life of the show.
Sometime last year.
Mm-hmm. It's been a minute, so we're happy to see the return of the skeleton hand glasses. And I think that's a good drink to welcome them back.
Welcome, Leeches.
And welcome the Leeches. Yes, so we are about to welcome these giant leeches, and again, that was apparently. So the posters for this movie just call it The Giant Leeches, but the on-screen title calls it Attack of the Giant Leeches. So I may use the titles interchangeably tonight. So just want to go ahead and clarify that up top. It either is acceptable. But yeah, I mean, these giant leeches are, again, pretty giant for leeches. And this is, it's kind of your classic sci-fi plot. Like we said, I believe it's radiation creates these giant leeches. And, the good people of the Florida Everglades have to
deal with this now.
Have to get rid of these goddamn leeches. But maybe this will be kind of like a Tremors type thing, right?
Yeah,
okay. They got these dang suckoids, and they gotta get the whole town rallied to start fighting back against these things. I mean, again, leeches are an interesting monster,
I would say leeches fit the bill of monster. Leeches, they're nasty little things.
Bloodsuckers.
They're
man.
Literal bloodsuckers.
Literal bloodsuckers. So this definitely as close as you can get to a vampire without being a vampire, is a leech. That's a reverse riddle for you. But it is, it is an intimidating monster. So, but I haven't seen this before. I have not watched this. It'll be a first time watch for me. Yeah, Callie, no, this is no Tremor. I am wishing. I haven't seen it. So I don't know. I'm getting my hopes up. Let me have this.
We haven't seen it.
I haven't. Yeah,
it could be better than Tremors.
It could be. We don't know. We haven't seen it. No, we'll enjoy it either way. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But again, this was the tail end of the giant monster movie craze. 1959. And the giant monster craze started around 55. And of course, that was when Godzilla came out, and there had already been, I can't remember what it was that it was some American, I think it was The Beast of 50,000 Fathom. There was something like that, titled like that kicked it off.
What was it, a squid? Giant squid?
Yeah, it was something like that. And then
I guess that makes sense. Giant Squid, the first big monster movie.
Right. And then, but Godzilla was not long after that. And, obviously Godzilla is kind of and for very good reasons, very much about the effects of atomic radiation on,
Right.
I mean, and
that's kind of right there.
And especially, that the first Godzilla is very much kind of about the fact that they were still reeling from the impact of the atomic bombs, right? And then it just became, about watching this monster run
Duke
around
it
and
out
destroy
with
things. Yeah, duke it out with the other monster. But we'll talk about that later.
Did Godzilla ever fight a giant squid?
That's a good question.
Does anybody in the audience know?
Somebody might know. Somebody might look it up. Let's see. Look at that. We got some Tremors fans in the chat. Sweet Feet, Essing, everyone likes Tremors. Guess what? I haven't seen
movie.
Tremors either. I just I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing. I've always heard good things about it. I mean, if it can have 4 straight to video sequels, then it's.
Isn't Reba in Tremors?
Reba is in the first one. Yeah, Reba is in the first one. Yeah, Godzilla would. I mean, Godzilla could just breathe fire, and then he'd just have himself some calamari right there, and probably pretty good.
Then he can leave Tokyo alone for a little bit.
Right. That's he was just hungry. That was what it was all about. He just was looking for his next meal. And he's, him breathing fire is like the only way that he can, communicate. But I guess they don't understand when he's like he's just saying he wants food. But we'll talk more about Godzilla later. I mean, again, that's one of the things we'll be talking about tonight, giant monsters. And of course, we'll be talking about the filmmakers, the director, Bernard Kowalski, and Gene Corman, of course. So it is a fun B movie for us to enjoy. Good old-fashioned creature feature. So, anything before we get into it tonight, Evan?
Do you think giant leeches wear giant breeches?
Mm-hmm. I don't even know what they would,
If leeches wore pants, would they wear them like this, or would they wear them like that?
Yeah, I guess it just wouldn't even. It would just be a pant. It wouldn't even be. You wouldn't have two legs.
Not really a pair of pants, just a pant.
Just a pant. Oh, that's what they wear. Very astute observation there, Evan. And yeah, Callie, I don't know. Abira, that's another one of the many, I believe, like one of the giant monsters of Japanese origin, which, of course, that's a whole genre known as kaiju. And I haven't seen a lot of those movies, but we got some trailers later, so we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. It'll be good. But yeah, I think without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of Attack of the Giant Leeches right now. Did you see that I wanted to say just the giant leeches, and then I was like, no, I need to say the whole thing.
We can abbreviate it later.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dark movie.
Yeah, it might be.
Is it just the copy?
No, I think it's just a dark movie.
Okay.
I don't think it's I think I always try to find the best copy I can. I believe this is the best one I can find. We're just so
They're
far
really
away.
nailing that night look. I can't see a thing. Was that the leech?
I think that is a leech.
Well, okay. We're getting right into it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
No hesitation. I see something weird. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Oh, maybe it did have an eye.
Looked like a squid.
Yeah, it did have a squiddy looking eye.
Looked a little squiddy.
Little squiddy. That's not a rapper that's already out there these days. Little squiddy. Get out of here, little squiddy.
He's got the jug of moonshine.
Classic.
Great.
Classic. Reliable witness.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to get a pre-credit sequence, right?
Yeah, we don't
appreciate
usually
it.
get something like that. Ooh,
Little
looking
squiddy,
giddy.
but that's very good, Sweet Pea. Yeah, very nice.
He's in a tizzy.
Oh my God, you could go the whole rest of the movie. Yeah, you could rhyme with that for days. So a lot of the people involved
Ask
in
me
this.
for free fitting.
Oh, very good. That's very good. A lot of the people involved in this are all Corman regulars. You know,
The usual
screenwriter,
stable.
director. Yeah.
Were they the ones that were sleeping in that stable?
Yes. Very changing. Such a bombastic opening title music.
When do we get to the movie? This is the movie.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I agree with that, Callie. Yeah. Just hold it a second. Leo
man.
Gordon also wrote The
Les?
Wasp Woman, which we watched a few seasons ago.
You hear me, girl?
I can't remember the monster costume from that one. Was it good or was it kind of?
It was alright. It was a wasp woman.
Yeah.
It was a woman with a wasp's face. It wasn't a giant wasp.
You gotta play that thing so loud. Come out like this first.
Oh, don't bother me.
Liz,
This actor in the hat right here is a Corman
someday
regular.
I'm gonna give that she-cat the whopping she's been asking for.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Sure you will, Dave. Bring the law down to her. Let her know who wears the pants around here.
Around
Back in a
here.
minute.
Yep, you gotta love these authentic
Done back there.
Florida
I'll leave a jug.
accents.
She'll be doing it.
Come on now, Lim, and tell us about that thing you killed out there at the swamp, will you?
Yeah, Lim, let's hear the rest
Yes,
of
S
it.
Sync, that's why I yikesed it.
I put 5 slugs into that critter before it went under.
Oh, go on.
And regular arms on it like a man. It was sort of different looking. Had suckers on them. Like one of them octopuses things. Oh, it was plumb awful looking.
Lim, you sure that critter wasn't pink?
Oh, I told you
Got 'em.
before it was sort of gray looking.
See,
Well, laugh
Well,
if
it was
you
sort of gray
want.
looking like everything
That
else in
thing
this
weren't
world.
nothing nature put out there. Oh, sir. And it weren't no freak gator neither.
No
I've
freak
been
gator.
poaching this country
I
for
love
40
that.
years.
Freak
and I
gator.
ain't
That's gonna be the
never
name of my
seen
first
nothing
album.
like it.
Too bad you didn't bring it back.
It's like an alligator,
Steve
but
Benton
it
probably
had
paid a fair
suckers
bounty
on
for
it, like an
whatever it
octopus.
Bounty? I wouldn't touch that critter for all the money he ever made. And if you seen it, you wouldn't either.
You better take it easy on this stuff. You looking kind of peaked.
I mean, yeah, he is like saying all this, like,
Clean my
and there I
auto
was.
before morning.
It was
Lim, I
this
think that
big.
critter's a ghost, one of those others
Yes,
you've been poaching all
Sweet
these years.
Feet.
Come
Somebody
back
go
to haunt
check
you.
the Urban Dictionary entry for freak gator.
Well,
It's
if
gotta
that's
be. It's gotta
so,
be in there.
you fellers will see it right quick yourselves.
I love this. Late 50s rock and roll. Makes me want to drive up to the sock hop and my hot rod. Boogie down.
We're going to the malt shop.
Yeah. Has she got like
Look, it's not like I want to be mean or anything like that, Liz, baby. But I got a reputation around here. These folks have no respect for a man who lets his woman boss him. The next thing they know, they'll be laughing at me. And they'll be
Oh,
telling all the
bro.
rest of it.
You know,
Please listen to me, Liz, baby.
they're already laughing at you.
Liz?
I just want my friends to think I'm cool.
Yeah, pretty surprising that he's insecure with such an attractive wife. I mean, come on, man. She's got to be with you for a reason. She was the.
Stop looking at me like that.
Yvette Vickers.
You my wife?
July 1959 Playboy Centerfold. So same year this came out. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute now.
Touch me.
You think you're talking to? Don't touch me. You're my wife. I'll touch you anytime I feel like it.
My, how times have changed.
Where you going? Where you going?
He's just.
I'm going out. Maybe I'll be back.
Looks like the intimidating final
Liz,
boss,
baby.
but then really you
I
just
didn't mean
walk
nothing.
right by him. You walk right out.
You'll have to go through me.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Get back here.
Yeah, this kind of might be a dark print.
I know there was a young one in that last trap. I had to kill it.
Should have played around with it.
Told you shouldn't have come along.
Makes it look a little extra gritty.
It does.
Well, I can understand hunting an animal, but
See, maybe I should have gone the
suffering those
reverse for
traps.
this season. I should have found the shittiest
Poachers know
quality
the swamps like
copies
the
that
back
I
of
could
their
find.
hand. But I'll catch one of them in the
It was
action and put
roughed
him away
up.
for 6 months. Meantime, I'll have to be satisfied confiscating their trap
We
lines.
copied it onto a
Lose enough scraps
VHS,
that won't pay 'em to
ran
keep
a
mine.
magnet over a few
careful, Don.
times,
These
then
people
put it
aren't
back
like
on the
other
computer.
folks. You know, they'll try and get back at you.
Let them try.
Steve, you're a stranger here. They've lived this way for generations. One man isn't going to change them overnight.
Hey, you're a real worrywart.
Well, I'm serious.
I hadn't heard that one in a
They
while.
can be dangerous.
A worry wart.
You a worry wart.
I'll be careful. You just stop
Kind of
worrying.
clunky.
Oh, Steve, I love you. I love you so much.
And cue the leeches.
What was that?
I don't know. You get in that truck and lock it up.
You stay here. That always works out. doesn't it?
Right. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Oh shit.
Oh gosh.
Is that the friendly town drunk who was shooting at the leech earlier?
Got leeched.
He got leeched big time. Oh my god. Yeah, he did. Hey. Yeah, I appreciate the makeup there. Not bad.
Listen, Benton. The coroner ruled that Sawyer died by misadventure.
Is he eating
as far as
cereal?
this officer's concerned, that's the end of it.
Is
Sheriff,
he?
I can't see why
Look,
they're...
if Lem was killed by
I want to
anything
be
human, I
a
wouldn't
sheriff
need you
who
to tell me my
sits at his
job.
desk and
But I'm not about
eats
to
cereal
go
and looks
through
at
the
a
swamp
seed
looking for an
calendar.
overgrown gator.
Sawyer wasn't killed by an alligator.
Is
I
that
think he's
so?
eating beans.
Did you hear that, Morton?
It is beans.
Game Warden Benton says it wasn't a gator killed Lem. Well, then what was it?
Still,
You know so
could
much.
have
Go
had
on,
me
tell
fooled
me,
and
what
said he's
killed
eating
him?
a big old bowl of Cocoa
Doc
Puffs,
Gracie
and I would have
said
believed
the
you.
kind of squid or a large octopus might cause.
There's no
sure.
squid in
Did
the
Grayson
Everglades,
explain how
right?
a
Come on.
saltwater creature happened to be
think so.
30 miles inland living in clear water?
Stranger
Clear
things
water.
have happened. I know.
Look here, Benton. You work for the state.
This
Now, why
here's
don't you
clear
keep your
water.
nose out of county business? Is that clear enough for you?
Oh, go soak your fat head.
Ooh.
What was that you said?
I said go soak your fat head.
Oh, he said it again. Damn.
That's another one you don't hear much nowadays.
Fat
Go
head?
soak your head.
So
Or fat
I've never
head.
heard
Boy's
soak
looking
your
for
head.
bad trouble, and he's sure going to get it. You can bet on that.
Yeah, now finish your beans,
I'm
Sheriff.
going back to my beans. Going back to my bread and Cocoa Puffs.
I can't. I can't even enjoy my bread and Cocoa Puffs anymore.
Now, in itself, the disc will not inflict a wound. Same is true of the squid. Now, both creatures have a parrot-like beak as their primary offensive and defensive weapon.
Maybe the sheriff was right, Dad.
Yeah, I guess the squid does have a beak.
Could be
it's got a beak.
freak or a malformed
I don't
alligator.
think a leech has a beak.
No, I'm
They
afraid
don't
it
know
wasn't.
it's leeches yet.
Well, where does that leave us, Doc?
I wish I knew.
Beaks.
They're trying to figure it out.
You know, I'm
But
beginning to
we
think
don't.
Lem was telling the truth in Walker's store. He did see something that night. Something that had intelligence enough to seek him out and destroy him later.
But Sawyer claims to have killed the thing he saw. Put a half a dozen rifle bullets into it. I've seen that old 44-40 used. Nothing could live after being hit with those slugs.
Well,
Blew it to
conceding the
bits.
possibility of one such creature, we must also concede the possibility of others.
Well, there's one sure way of finding out. Go in and search every backwater, channel, and wet spot in the swamp. If it's there, I'll find it.
Really? You're gonna search the entire Everglades?
I'm gonna go hunt me
In
a
a
giant squid. Wow, perfect.
He's on the case.
Don't move, you're gonna tip it. You're gonna tip it. I would feel very unsteady in that rickety thing. So they filmed this in the Pasadena Arboretum? Is that how you know?
Yeah, Arboretum.
Is that how you say it?
Quiet
Right.
around here.
So if you thought it was the Everglades, they got you.
Movie magic. You were
Movie
fooled.
magic.
It's all an illusion.
Yes, protect the tigers. That's where we are. We are keeping the classics alive here. Spinning the oldies.
Did you hear something?
Yes?
Well, whatever it was, it's not here anymore.
Do you want some coffee?
Yeah, thanks, son.
Wow, way to break the tension there. Okay, great.
An army could hide in here and never be noticed.
Well, one did. The Seminoles.
And so
under
when he's
Osceola
done,
in
he's just gonna
1830.
toss that into the.
Took the U.S. Army
into
2
the
years
swamp,
to round them
right?
up.
Oh, I remember reading about Osceola in high school. 2 years. We've only been at it 2 days, and I feel worn out.
Well, you might as well keep on looking around.
Well, hey, at least they've established they've been looking for some time.
Yeah,
It's not just like they're out
What?
here and then they find it.
Yeah, 5 minutes on.
Right.
Sheesh, what a romantic getaway. Spending 2 days paddling through the Everglades.
Yeah, the fact that neither of them has gotten any kind of, malaria or any kind of mosquito transmitted infection is baffling.
Well, I guess we may as well give up for today.
Well, you won't get any argument from me.
Yeah.
There it is.
Just peeking.
I'm asking you for the last time, Dave Walker. You answer me, you dirty old man.
I ain't dirty, Liz, baby.
I'm leaving you.
Baby. Liz, honey. Can't you think of anything else to say, stupid?
I gotta get this order over Miss Chovy. She's one of my better customers. Can't keep her waiting. I love you, Liz, baby.
Get out. Get out, you fat pig!
Damn. Yeah, I mean, this is just this relationship, just
home.
both sides, is not good. Yep. Nope.
You have some trouble, Dave?
You know,
Dick,
Cal.
what do you think? You're outside listening.
You sure do know an awful lot about females. I gotta hand it to you.
I can't stand here jawing, Cal. Gotta get this order over to Miss Shovey.
Can't keep her
What's she
waiting.
letting her hair down about this time?
Well, ever since Lem got herself killed, she wants me to sell out and move into town.
Don't you let her bamboozle you, Dave. You keep her right here in the store. After all, the place wouldn't be the same without you around.
Thanks, Cal. I better get going. See you when I get back.
Yeah, I'll be around.
He's all over his wife. He's not even suspicious of this alley cat on the prowl.
Liz, baby.
Liz, baby.
It's Cal, honey.
It's Elvis. Hey, it's the king.
Thank you very much.
You want something, Cal?
What are we in a Tennessee Williams play all of a sudden?
I sure do,
You want something, Cal?
Is there a name for the little dot that pops up before the real switch?
Yeah, there is, and I can't remember what it is, but yes, there's a name for that.
That is spotted one.
Come on.
Yep, it's always fun seeing those. Simpler times. Actually, not simpler, way more complicated, because you gotta change out like multiple reasons.
ourselves out looking for something we aren't even sure
It sounds
exists.
like such a nerve-wracking job.
Yeah, to be the projectionist when you actually
we've
had
covered miles of back channel. and
Nowadays,
never
you
come
just
across
fucking
anything to support your
you plug in a
father's
flash
theory of
drive and
alien
you
creature.
click play, and then you go.
Not so much as a mud print we
Walk
couldn't
away.
identify.
I know.
That's why the focus and all
You're not
the
gonna give up, are you, Steve?
all that stuff is so
Well,
commonly
I can't
messed
waste
up
any
now
more
because
time on
nobody's
a
like they're
wild
actually
goose
attending.
chase. With all respect to your father's ideas,
Dad seems so sure.
It's a squid, damn it. And that is gonna take us to our first break.
Our first squid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a squid. I mean,
It's gotta be a squid. We're in the Everglades. What else could it be?
I mean, in Clearwater, Florida. You yell barracuda. No, I say giant squid.
Some kind of swamp octopus.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Some kind of giant swamp octopus.
Newly discovered species of swamp octopus. We call it a swamptopus.
The swamptopus.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
I
go.
got it.
Now there's your movie.
There it is. I mean, I think Roger Corman already did that one.
Beat us to it.
He did do Sharktopus, though. I'm pretty sure
Okay,
that was a Roger Corman. Yeah, I mean, again, like Roger Corman, probably more in the later half of his career, has produced more creature features than he did early in his career, but he did do a lot of creature features. And you know, again, you noted the look of the crab monsters, and there was another Corman movie called It Conquered the World, which has a similar kind of, not a crab, but like a weird shaped hard shell monster with human like evil eyes. But it was only like this tall, like the height of, like, you know, a small, like a child. And it wasn't a very intimidating monster. I believe that both those creatures were designed by the same guy, which is why they look very hokey. And both
guys
Cormans,
just into shellfish, I guess.
Right? Yeah,
arthropods. Is that a thing?
Well, there was a non-Corman giant monster movie called, I think it's called The Monster That Challenged the World, and it's a giant mollusk or giant mollusks. So that's,
How does that threaten the world?
Let me tell you something. I was going to show the trailer for that. The creatures in that are much more terrifying. Look, they don't have those weird human eyes, and they're like, they actually, like, they have like jaws that are like pinching. I don't know. They look great. They look very intimidating. But
so a clam with teeth,
basically. But the Cormans wanted the guy that did the monster costume for the other Corman monster movies to do this. He said, you don't have the budget for that. I couldn't even begin to make the kind of giant leech costume you need for this. So apparently it ended up just being the lead actor and the wife, and Gene Corman's wife. They either used, as I think it was Callie pointed out earlier, they either used black garbage bags that they sewed together, or, which I think is the more likely thing, that they, and it could also all be bullshit, but the other thing that I read that they used was black raincoats that they stitched together. And that looks a little more plausible to me, because these costumes, we haven't seen them full on yet, but they do have a rubbery look to them. And then of course they have the sucker things kind of glued onto them. And they look good. Again, we haven't really seen them yet, but it was, it was just kind of the nature of how low budget this movie was. I mean, it was shot for $70,000. I guess at that time, $70,000, which again, decent amount of money.
Is that back then money or now money?
I think it's back then money.
So,
which again, like Manos, you're like, I'm sure if all this money is translating to the production value on screen, but I think that it really has to do with how much like film costs back then, and how much it costs to be processed in a lab and all this other stuff.
All the lab fees.
I think there's a lot of back end costs and front end costs and all these things that come out of just using.
We don't have any money left for our monster costume, the thing this movie is supposed to showcase.
I mean, that kind of happened a lot. I mean, one of the other monster movies of Corman's that we've watched, Creature from the Haunted Sea.
I was gonna bring that up.
You remember that? I mean,
wasn't that kind of handmade?
They took like a wetsuit. They glued Brillo pads on it. They put pipe cleaners on the ends of gloves, and they used tennis balls for the eyes and ping pong balls for the pupils of the eyes.
It's in our intro, right?
It is, yeah. You can see that clip of it's a very famous clip of the creature grabbing the lead actress in the movie, and it really was a slapdash costume that Roger Corman was just like, I need a monster costume. And
yeah, I gotta during the break, I'm gonna bring up that still, so that when we do get the reveal, I gotta compare tonight's monster costume with that one.
I love that. I think that's a great idea, because I think it was probably made in the same amount of time. Again, like it's weird with Roger Corman Productions and Roger Corman adjacent productions that it's just like, okay, the movie's going, and if the big element that we need isn't quite ready yet, we'll throw it together and we'll shoot anyway, and we'll get something out of it. I mean, that kind of logic was applied all the way through to The Terror, which we watched like back in season 1, which is very much like, we'll shoot it now and we'll figure out what it means later. We'll make it make sense later. It's like, it's the movie's going. This train is on the tracks, and it's full steam ahead. And if something isn't ready, we'll just we'll figure it out later. And again, the screenwriter for tonight's film, Leo Gordon, also wrote the script for The Terror, which, again, if you've seen it before, it's a really incomprehensible movie. And but Leo Gordon was one of like Corman's go-to, not only screenwriters, because he also wrote The Wasp Woman, but he was also an actor. and he was in Corman's movie The Haunted Palace, which was, The Haunted Palace is one of my favorite Roger Corman, Vincent Price movies, and Leo Gordon has a memorable role in that. But he was always good as like a kind of an intimidating actor. He'd apparently like been to prison, and
really?
like Leo Gordon was a real like character, and obviously in a whole bunch of westerns.
Huh.
Yeah, and a screenwriter. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. Like that's the thing. Callie, I see your point. Better actor than a scriptwriter, but I mean, hey, jack of all trades. Got to give it to him that. But he was a Corman. Like even when Corman worked for a studio, which did happen every now and again, he would like cast Leo Gordon in a bit part. He had people that he did that for, like the guy who was in Bucket of Blood and had a small role in Little Shop of Horrors, Dick Miller. But I mean, again, Roger Corman's the executive producer here. His brother Gene ran the show, and again, like I said earlier, they shot in the Pasadena Arboretum, and apparently there was Gene, much like his brother Roger. So Gene was actually younger than Roger and got in the business before Roger did, was like an agent. And then Roger started making movies. So then Gene's like, oh, well, I want to be a producer. So I think Gene had produced a movie that Roger directed called I, Mobster. And yeah, I don't know.
Great.
And then he did some other movies. And one of the movies that he did like right before this was also with the director of tonight's film, Bernard Kowalski, called Night of the Blood Beast, and that's one of the trailers we're going to see during our break. And it apparently has some similarities to the plot of Alien. There's I don't know, there's apparently Night of the Blood Beast has some interesting things going on. It's a public domain movie, and we'll get to watch it eventually. But that was one of Gene's first big monster movies. And I think Roger also executive produced that. And, obviously Gene liked working with Kowalski, so brought him in to direct this. And so they were filming at the Arboretum. Gene had learned from Roger kind of the stingy and I say stingy with all love and respect, stingy in the sense of why pay? He's
a frugal filmmaker.
Yeah, the frugal independent, because that's what this is, like super indie. I mean, again, this whole movie was shot in 8 days, $70,000 budget. So taking a page out of Roger's book, Gene's like, why should I pay the Union Grips to come in and push the camera float? Because they had to have a float to or a raft, a camera raft. They had a raft to put the camera on, but they needed somebody to push it, and Gene didn't want to pay for the Union Grips. So apparently at first it was the director Bernard Kowalski and his brother pushing it. And then Gene,
you gotta love that. That's so indie.
Well, and that was the thing that Bernard Kowalski said. He's about the movies that he made with Gene and these horror movies. He said these kinds of shows are made as a collaborative effort. Everyone did everything, which is a wonderful way to work. I mean, everyone's totally involved. Everyone cares. Though they were 7-day shows and the titles were exploitative, we wanted them to be the very best we could possibly make them. Right. So it was obviously everybody's going to chip in. Everybody's going to do something to make that's just the independent film spirit.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. But, so, the director and his brother did it for a little bit, and then Gene put on a suit and got in the water and he pushed it. He ended up getting pneumonia. And
gosh.
he had to go to the hospital. He had to be hospitalized for a little bit.
Well, I wonder if it was more expensive to go to the hospital than it would have been to just hire the Union Grips.
Hire the Union crew. I mean, I'm sure they have dealt with water, working in water before. They know the proper protocol. They're not just throwing on a bathing suit and hopping into the Arboretum waters and getting after it. Gene probably got actual leeches on him too.
Yeah, sorry, when you said a suit, I thought you meant like a wetsuit.
No, just like
Just
I'm
threw on
pretty
some
sure it was
trunks,
just a
jumped in the
bathing.
water.
He just put on like a bathing suit.
Great, yeah.
That's why he got pneumonia.
Yeah, he probably did end up with leeches on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, Gene is obviously, again, very much cut from the same cloth as his brother. I'm going to do anything that is going to save me money. If it's like, well, I can do that. I'm not going to pay somebody to do it if I can just come in and do it. I mean, that's definitely out of the Roger Corman playbook. So you gotta love that. But so during the break, like I said, we're gonna see the horror movie that the director and producer for tonight's film collaborated on before this, Night of the Blood Beast. And then we're gonna see a trailer for a horror movie that Gene Corman produced after this, which was directed by his brother Roger. It's a gothic horror movie, so definitely a shift from the giant monster movies. And Roger was in his gothic horror period at the time, which is Roger was making a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe gothic horror movies. So he decided he wanted to do some. I mean, Richard III is what this is like based off of, and I think there was like a Shakespeare play. So the movie is Tower of London, and it stars Vincent Price as Richard III, but it's, you know, obviously taking liberty with history, and he's murdering all of the other people in line to the throne in order to ascend. But it's Vincent Price, and he's like a hunchback, you know, Richard III. So he's like really, the trailer's great.
He's doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. He's really big, so it's a lot of fun. And then the other trailer, is for a horror movie that Kowalski directed in the 70s called so I'm going to say it just the way that it's spelled, SSSSSSS, but as the trailer will tell you, don't say it, hiss it. Because it's it's a snake movie.
Yeah, one
called...
ticket for.
Yes, that is what you're supposed to do. So it's really one of the only other horror movies that Kowalski did after this. And it's actually produced by the guys who produced Jaws 2 years before they made Jaws.
Wow.
They made this movie where this mad scientist injects a guy with, like, I don't know, he turns a guy is turning into a snake man, and it's ridiculous. So so you gotta love that, you gotta appreciate that. So yeah, we're gonna see these Gene Corman, Bernard Kowalski trailers, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into the exciting middle of Attack of the Giant Leeches. So stick around, we'll be right back.
John Corcoran was the first man to be set up in a satellite and ejected back to Earth.
Something's wrong. I'm falling too fast. Goldenrod, I'm in trouble. The jets aren't breaking my speed. I'm releasing the drag chute.
7 hours and his blood is still alive.
Night of the Blood Beast brings you the first creature on Earth bullets cannot kill.
This is fantastic. It's unbelievable. Things like this just don't happen.
A blood beast that makes a dead man live.
Dr. Wyman. Half his head's gone.
A blood beast that feasts on Earth scientists. The first satellite creature to impregnate man with its chromosomes.
It's true. I can feel it inside.
The first exploration into living space, exposing secrets too horrifying to reveal. You'll know days of nerve-straining suspense. It's first-degree terror when you see Night of the Blood Beast.
The Tower of London, habitat of terror, the malevolent abode of evil. Behind its dank, forbidding walls, a madman, devising the most exquisite tortures his twisted, diabolical mind can conceive.
Mr. Shaw, are you content to die there? Or are you ready to grant what I wish? Huh? It's not a pretty death, Mr. Shaw. Gelder.
Vincent Price, personification of evil on the screen, stalks the kingdom of terror itself to take you on a rendezvous with fear. To look into the very face of hell and its unknown horrors. To pierce the veil that covers the shadowy figures lurking inside the fearful Tower of London.
Once this motion picture sinks its fangs into you, you'll never be the same. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it. Don't say it. Hiss it.
What the hell are you doing here? Get out! Get out! Get out!
Doctor, what is this? I feel like my guts are being rearranged.
Touch your skin. It's scaled. Look for your legs. They're gone. Feel your body. It's cold. And listen for the hissing.
I love you.
Your face.
What about it?
It looks different.
He doesn't want to see you.
You're hiding something from me. I know it.
King Cobra versus Mongoose. Or is it man versus man? The most unusual horror film ever made. See it.
Wow. Yeah, that was the trailer for yeah, that was a pretty I do love that trailer. I mean, I gotta say the actor playing the mad scientist there, Strother Martin, is not really the mad scientist type. He's kind of more of the sniveling toady of the bad guy type. Like, it's kind of weird. He would have made a great Renfield, but not a great Dracula, right?
Right.
So it's weird to see him there as the mad because he talks like this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, okay.
Well, I guess the real monster is the snakes.
Right.
The many snakes.
And and the Snake Man, of course.
Oh, the Snake Man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the mongoose.
Right.
They need a mongoose man to fight the Snake Man.
I know, that was pretty great. That juxtaposition. It's like you just see this grown man rearing at another guy like he's a fucking snake. Come on, get out. What are we doing here? But yeah, as Evan has pointed out while we were watching that, you said there's similarities of that in a Lovecraft story.
Yeah. There was a story called The Curse of Yig, which is about these, I guess they were pioneers, kind of Old West pioneers who they kind of have a run-in with a snake god, and people turning into snakes, and so I guess the idea has been around for a while.
Yeah, there's a 50s movie called the Cult of the there's not Cult of the Snake People or Cult of the Cobra Woman. There's some kind of they did some movies. There's some movies like that. And it is, I mean, again, Lovecraft is just a very influential horror.
Yeah,
Kind of, he just had all that had the stories. And it's interesting because, again, the production designer for tonight's film, uh he actually directed, he was a he was an art director, then he became just a straight up director. He made the 1970 version of the Dunwich Horror.
Okay.
And he did what? There was something. And before that, his first movie was Die Monster Die, which is based on Color Out of Space. So it's kind of interesting because he directed a few movies. He didn't direct many, but it's weird that he directed 2 Lovecraft adaptations, and of course he was the art director on The Haunted Palace, which is a Roger Corman Lovecraft adaptation, but with an Edgar Allan Poe title, because the studio was like,
Wait, what Lovecraft was that based on?
the Charles Dexter Ward.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then and then AIP said, we need, it's got Vincent Price, it's directed by Roger Corman, let's just slap a Poe title on it and it'll be part of the series.
So weird that they would do that. They just slap Poe names on things. And
yeah, they did it a lot. They did it a lot. It really did. And
this tonight's movie is it's Edgar Allan Poe's Giant Leeches.
Yeah, might as well be. It's all about the name value. And this was distributed by American International Pictures. They were very they were always known for kind of taking the marketing into their own hands, or even just like taking the movie and re-editing it to fit whatever their marketing or whatever their because sometimes they'd get filmmakers that wanted to make a statement, and even Roger Corman making some movies for them. He'd made a whole movie for them about tripping acid called The Trip, and they redid the ending where they put an optical effect where it looked like broken glass over the last shot to make it seem like it was a horrible, and this character's life was, ended terribly. But that's not how Roger had edited the ending. But they had a narrative that they wanted to fill. And so that was like AIP for you.
They called it Edgar Allan Poe's The Trip.
They got away with it too, let me tell you. Those bastards over at AIP, the old Arkoff. Yeah. So it's so weird that again, the art director for this, he did pretty much every Roger Corman movie, and he would bring a trailer to sets to sleep in because he'd just be working on props and things all night. He didn't make the monster costume, interestingly enough. I don't know what it all is that he's actually making and doing for all of Roger's productions, but he was always the guy. And if I've learned anything from the few times I've tried to make a production, is if you can have a production designer, it's a pretty nice added benefit. They're going to be able to think about things and do things that you're just either you wouldn't have thought about, or you just don't have the time to do if you're an independent producer, director. Again, much like
when you're not doing everything, you're not pushing the camera raft.
Yeah, when
around.
you're not pushing the camera raft. Exactly. Again, that's the joys of independent filmmaking. That's what we're gonna keep seeing tonight as we get into the exciting middle of Attack of the Giant Leeches. Yeah, when we left off,
was that guy dead? The I don't even know what you'd call him, the moonshine guy,
the town drunk.
Would you call him a hunter?
Yeah, I guess he was out there hunting.
He did have a gun.
He did have a gun. So I don't think he was just out. Come on. How many people say they're going out hunting when all they're wanting to do is go out and drink by themselves? Yeah, so they don't want to be judged for it.
His comically big jug of moonshine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's all right, let's...
this counts as one.
We were able
I'm having a drink.
We were able to get these props from the Andy Griffith Show set, and we gotta make good use of them, damn it. Roger reused everything that he could, and it's even the score for tonight's movie is the same score that they used on Night of the Blood Beast. Thank God it's not the same score that like we've heard on at least 3 other Roger Corman movies. That is so so tonally off. It's like a jazzy it's just, and we've heard it for 3 movies, and it doesn't fit any of the it doesn't it's a movie score distinguishes it in its own way. It gives it its own feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 movies having the same score is the most annoying thing to me because they're great movies, but the score is just like literally you go and read the facts for all those movies and they're like, yeah, somehow Roger didn't realize that he paid this composer and the composer gave him the same score every time. I think Roger just reused the score, and I think it was a big mistake. But again, all of those movies came out within like a year of each other. So maybe he didn't know. Because when you're making 20 movies at once, you're not really.
Things tend to get lost in the shuffle.
They do. I mean, again, this was made in 50. It was probably made actually in 58. It came out, I think, in early 59. So like this was in the middle of Roger Corman's most prolific period. So like he directed like 10 movies in 1 year, in like 57 or 58. So that's not even counting the movies like this one that he's executive producing,
It's
right?
insane.
Like
Just insane.
how nuts is that? So that's, gotta love these.
Call him the man who never slept.
No, God, no. Talk about a workhorse. That's Roger Corman for you. And I think he literally just stopped producing. Like up until like right around COVID, he was still EPing and doing, putting out some movies, putting his name on some movies. And so but he's still out there. He's still going to film festivals and stuff. He's just not, producing. Once you get 96, you gotta maybe slow down a little.
You gotta think about retiring.
Yeah, yeah. Just think about it. And of course, we lost Gene. We lost him in 2020. So that's So Gene's no longer with us, but Roger's still having kicked it.
Shout out to the Cormans.
Shout out to the Cormans. We're gonna see what they can conjure up here. As we get into the exciting middle of Attack of the Giant Leeches right now. I don't know what's the fuck's going on with our audio. Every time I switch into a source, it like glitches out for the first like 3 seconds. Uh-oh. Having a roll in the swamp?
Yep.
A roll in the... I don't even know what's on the ground of the swamp.
Mud?
Let's have a good old-fashioned roll in the mud.
You're some woman, Liz.
Why would they leave
I
the
reckon
car?
I never met a woman like you before.
Yeah,
You really like me, Cal?
You kidding? No, I didn't hurt you now, did I?
Just so strong. I like a man that's strong.
You sure picked a doozy, then, man, Dave. I don't think he's got a muscle in him. Just a big piece of flab.
Got him.
Oh, now, I didn't mean anything against you. Just that I can't see a real woman like you tying in with a tubbalard like him.
Jeez, just you got a book full of these fat jokes?
You know, I've wanted to tell you.
Is this is our second romantic excursion
Fine,
to the swamp?
Yep.
You tell old Cal all about it.
People do that.
Have a romantic excursion in the swamp amongst the mosquitoes and frogs.
You wouldn't think bad of me?
I mean, I guess if you're looking for
You tell me you killed your pa and your ma and your
dense
whole family.
place to kind of
Fight to protect you.
hide away in.
Yeah.
You're trying to be out of prying eyes.
If you're considering having an affair, consider the swamp.
Think about it. Uh-oh. Womp womp. Here comes, have I used Lardo yet? Yeah, no, I haven't. Here comes Lardo. I mean, they're just, obviously it's going to be a continuing punchline.
First husband was a no good bum.
They're laying on a blanket.
Okay.
Couldn't keep
Okay,
a job more than a week.
at least they're not laying on the ground.
Used to get lushed up, come home beat up on me.
I see a duck in the background.
Must have been a prize pig.
One night he tried to hold up a gas station. He was so drunk he couldn't even run. I caught him less than a mile away. He got sent up. I got a divorce.
It's rough.
After 3 years working in a lousy beanery, I was ready for the first guy that said a nice word to me.
Oh, we're finding out why she's in love with Dave. Okay. Okay. I like this character development.
I know how to take care of a woman like you, Liz.
Maybe it ain't too late, pal.
You're wrong,
well,
woman.
well.
It's too late for the both of you.
Oh, jeez.
Get up. Come on, get up.
Now, look, Dave, I know what you're thinking, but...
I got double large shot in this here thing. You got 2 seconds before I pull the trigger.
No point getting riled, Dave. Wasn't my fault. She's been pestering me for months to take her out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, classy move, Cal. Just
Get her up
like
so I can get a better
Cal
look at
from
the
the
line and
Titanic.
triumph.
Just throw the women under the bus. Yep.
Come on, get up.
No. No, he killed me. He killed me.
Jumping. And your husband wants to take a look at you. You walk all the way, Dave?
One more step and I'll blow you plumb in two.
Is that supposed to be some kind of
Get
fat
over
joke?
Now, David, ain't as bad as you think.
Shut up! Triumph.
What are you gonna do?
You'll find out soon enough.
Dave, you put down that gun before I get mad and make you eat it.
It's just, you know.
You go ahead and
Just
try
go ahead
it,
and
Cal. Go right
take him out
ahead
of the
and
picture.
try. Move! Move!
What is this? Is this turned into a most dangerous game situation?
Oh, God, again? Can I have this guy out here with the bow and arrow?
Yeah, he just pulls that out from nowhere. I'm a magazine centerfold. I'm not meant to run like this. You didn't tell me I was gonna be running through the arboretum.
Come on!
I can't go any further. No.
Come on! Come on!
Yeah, how many bullets you got there with you, Dave? I think you might be getting ready to run out.
Go on, run! Run till you drop!
Oh, she dropped.
Literally. There it is.
All right, you're done.
Okay, you're good. You're out. He's having fun.
He's moving like a fool child.
Go on. Cal.
Damn. He's angry.
End of the line.
Come on, keep going.
Dave, please, you gotta listen. It wasn't my fault, honest. She kept playing up to me every time you turned your back. It wasn't my fault.
Dick.
You call yourself a man? You and your muscles.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this fix. And my old friend Dave wouldn't be doing this thing to me.
My old friend.
This guy's such a baby.
But Dave, we've been friends a long time, Dave. You wouldn't kill an old friend, Dave.
If you don't move, I'll kill you where you stand.
But Dave!
Yeah.
Great big man.
It's so cold.
Dave, the kid is out here. Please, Dave.
I love how they're like yelling all this as they're backing up in the water.
Honey, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Sorry.
You think you learned enough to stay away from a woman, Cal?
Hey, anything, Dave. I'll move out of the county. I'll do anything you say, Dave. Anything.
All right. Come on out of there.
Too late.
My God.
Behind you.
That's too bad he wasted all of his ammo.
Ooh.
That was quick.
That was very quick. But...
They say a leech can strip a man to the bones
nothing down here,
under a
Sheriff.
minute.
Well, I'm getting tired of this. Come on in, boys.
God, fuck these people, man.
Man, is it lunch yet or what?
Well, if there was any bodies out there, we'd have found them. I want some straight answers, Walter. And don't give me any more of that crud about monsters either.
Don't give me more of that crud. All right, kid from the early 2000s.
Tell you the truth, Sheriff.
Loud and
I
clear.
didn't kill them. I just wanted to scare them good. I loved my Liz. I wouldn't do anything to hurt her.
Aw.
I loved her.
Sure. You loved her. That's why you chased her through the swamp with a shotgun. Come on, Walter. Where'd you hide the body?
Won't you believe me? It was some monsters. They...
Take him out of here before I lose my temper.
Hey, go soak your head.
But not in the swamp, because, you know,
Right.
monsters. Squids.
Their reward if someone finds a body, Sheriff?
$50.
God.
Each.
Yeah.
These guys are fucking scumbags.
You know, I never thought that of old Dave. Of course, everybody knowed that Cal and Liz had a hankering for each other. Everybody but old
They
Dave.
had a hankering for each other.
Everybody knew but Dave.
Grappling out there in the middle of the water. If them bodies is still in there, you can bet some old bull gator's got 'em stuffed in his cave under the bank, letting 'em ripen up for a few days.
Oh. Why?
Well, what we
That's
need
how
now is
gators
some
like
long
'em.
cypress poles to go in there and probe them gator caves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pull me some gator tails. Oh, shit!
Well.
Fuck!
Wow.
I was not
wasn't expecting
that.
that.
Sorry, Doc, I can't do it.
I'll have to do it
Damn,
myself.
that's brutal.
I want to have to
Yeah,
rush you, Doc,
sheesh.
but I will if I
Fuck.
find you near the preserve with any explosives.
Steve.
Sorry, Nan, that's the way it's got to be.
Steve's right, ma'am. It's his job to protect wildlife.
What about human life? 3 people have been killed in
I
that
have to
game
protect
preserve.
these
Does
monsters,
that mean
damn it.
anything to you?
Nan, try to understand.
It's my
If I
job.
could be sure something in the swamp was responsible for those deaths, I wouldn't hesitate a minute. We've been together the last 3 days. We didn't see a trace of anything unusual. Not so much as a suggestion of any form of life unknown to us.
Steve, something killed those people.
All right, I'll admit Sawyer's death left a lot of questions unanswered. But you can bet your bottom dollar the other two died from Dave Walker's shotgun.
Do you really believe that?
Figure it out, Nan. Walker admitted chasing his wife and cow into the swamps after he found them together. He shot them and he tried to place the blame on Sawyer's DTs. If Sawyer had told of seeing purple giraffes with polka dot tails, Walker would have claimed they did it.
There's one argument against that,
DTs,
Steve.
isn't that...
Dave Walker wasn't the kind of a man
that
to hang
like,
himself, not even with 2 murder charges against him.
I mean, I guess that's
So
some
I talked with
outdated
Dave less than an hour
terminology,
before he
but,
killed
like,
himself. That man
It's
was
like
in
the
a state of
medical
shock.
thing. It's delirium
I've seen
tremens.
frightened men before, terrified men.
Right.
But I've never seen anything to compare with the horror and the fear in Walker's eyes.
Well, he realized what he'd done and he killed 2 people. One his wife. Well, look, Doc, Nan and I were all over that swamp. And why didn't these monsters attack us?
We were
I've been
all
thinking
up
about
in
that.
that swamp.
They're probably night creatures. They can't stand the light. They stay down near the bottom during the day. A small charge would stun them, bring them to the surface.
Can't buy it, Doc.
You're pig-headed, Steve Benton. Stubborn and pig-headed.
You just don't understand, do you?
You still haven't figured out that they're leeches
Right,
yet,
Doc.
though. No, you're not gonna catch me out in those waters. That looks like an even worse. That like boat.
It really looks like it's about to float.
I love sound effects, man. Did you hear that?
Yeah, the whip crack when they ran into
Over there in them reeds.
That's what it was. It was a whip crack.
Just can't figure old Dave out.
If you was caught like Cal, what would you do?
I hadn't thought of that. Right over there in them reeds is where that big one used to be.
Yeah.
That biggin.
Caught some good catfish in that hole.
So their plan is really to go to a swamp gator cave?
Yeah. I do like the sound effects they're using for the creatures.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Boy, this is sure a hot one.
I mean, that's what I would do,
Yeah.
right?
Look, this is the Everglades. There's a 2-drink limit.
Right unseasonable.
Or sorry, 2-drink minimum.
It's funny.
Huh?
Ain't you noticed anything?
Oh,
Quiet.
We've been prodding around here all morning. Ain't run across a single gator. By rights, this pool should be crawling with him. Sure funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
I don't like the looks of things. Let's call it a day.
Well, now, wait a minute. We ain't pulled the gator holes around the bend yet.
You do what you want to do, boy. Just get me on dry land, and right quick.
All right.
What is
now,
he,
ain't no
like
use
10
getting
years
all
younger
head
than
up.
you?
Let's go.
Boy.
You gotta quit drinking that moonshine.
I've got a bad feeling. I give up.
Rankling.
Give me
Let's
on
go
land.
back. Let's go back.
We out here. Wild goose chase.
That's the best look we got. I mean, look at the way these things swim, dude. Just imagine somebody's in that contraption. Can't probably see a damn thing.
That looks hard to swim in. Oh, so this is our cave. This is a much bigger cave than I was expecting.
This must have been what the production designer was spending so much time on.
Yeah, all that money went into the cave. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. It does. I could see rain jackets. I could see trash bags, but it could be rain jackets. Whatever this is.
Oh shit!
Oh, so they're alive. Yeah, I was thinking leeches just suck the blood. So
Right. Yeah, they've got
I guess they
meals
can
for
suck
days.
them dry. But...
Right. Now that sucker looks pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Don't they have like super sharp teeth, like real leeches in their like suckers?
I think so. I know like a lamprey looks pretty gnarly. They've got a pretty scary looking mouth. That's kind of like a leech.
Yeah. Oh. Gruesome. Jesus. The leeches are just fucking getting after it right now. Feeding on everybody.
Yeah, sheesh.
We've been calling, but there's
okay.
been no answer.
Oh, I just got back. What seems to be the trouble?
Haven't you heard?
That was the most
Old
stilted
Sam
line
Peters and
delivered.
Porky Reed have
I
disappeared.
just got back. What seems to be the trouble?
Come on inside.
So you said the budget for this was 70,000?
You know,
So
Colas,
during the break, I
nothing
checked the
would please
math.
him more than to have all
in
the
today's
swamp
money,
people
that's
disappear.
like $700,000.
I
That
know.
seems like
They have about as much
big
regard for
money.
him as he has for them.
I mean, again, I think
It takes a lot of money
And they're
to
worried
make a
enough to go to
movie,
him.
but like
You know something's wrong.
I think
Mrs.
film
Reed
and
said the men went
processing
searching
it
for
was
Cal
a
and
lot.
Mrs. Walker's
I really
bodies,
do.
and they never returned.
Probably at least half of
Colas says he'll get up a search party if they don't show up in a couple of days.
Doc, you and Nan take your car and get as many volunteers as you can. Tell them to meet me at the old wagon road. I'll call Doak Evans and have him bring his dogs.
Doak?
Either they're lost or they've had an accident.
Yeah, it was,
hope to
that
heaven
was
you're
pretty
right.
gruesome as sync. I thought that would give me nightmares for sure. Oh! Well, hopefully we're back. Lost, but now we're found.
technical problems. Search party
mob.
going now.
The perfect mob.
Right, you break the torches out, you know it's a mob.
Oh, and the dogs. You know they got them dogs out there.
Who let those dogs out?
Them dogs might have been smelling ape for days. It's like my new favorite quote of all time. Them dogs might have been smelling ape for days.
Well, they picked up the scent anyway.
Dad, do you think they'll find them?
Only the good Lord can answer that.
Praise Jesus.
Well, at least we know they got this far. All right, let's split up into two parties and circle the lake. Keep your eyes open. Let's move out.
And that is gonna take us to our second break. So we've gotten a decent amount of leech action, and
Yeah, we finally saw our full monster.
and
Full
I mean,
body monster.
obviously very human-like. I mean,
Yeah, they're kind of a mess, kind of a mass, maybe just a bunch of jackets or whatever material they're made of.
yeah, you can just kind of see the person who is crammed in that costume, their arms like out to the side, like
Yeah, much like an actual leech, it's kind of hard to tell what's the top part and what's the bottom.
right. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kind of a little squishy lump.
Yeah, I guess rain jackets work well for that. And I mean, I think you noticed in that long shot, it looked like they had not suckers, but something going all the way up the back.
Yeah, that's had some kind of spine.
Some kind of spine, which I imagine is just to cover the seams of the stitches on the costumes.
Right,
I think
yeah.
that's why that's like that.
The radiation gave these invertebrate leeches a spine.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Cape Canaveral, they're really putting out some toxic pollutants. And so, hey, to the leeches' benefit, obviously. I mean, good for them.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to, I mean, bloodsuckers are, they gotta eat too. And they are feasting right now, if I must say
Eating
so.
like
They got a
kings. They got a whole cave full of
cave
food.
full of food. Oh my God, they can hibernate and oh man, I mean, they're just
Welcome to Everglades Cribs. Check out my cave.
I mean, again, it was a very immaculately designed cave. I mean, again, I think that's where the production designer was spending
was a
most
really
of
nice
his
set.
time in the cave. Yeah, I mean, it looks.
If
it
you
looks
need me, I'll be in the cave.
yeah, he probably loved saying that. I'd love saying that. Yeah, but I mean, I think like obviously the visual image of them like up sucking blood out of people is actually pretty like
pretty good.
gruesome. Like that's pretty effective, I think. And I mean, again, as far as monster costumes go, I mean, obviously, I mean that's why I'd say this is pretty schlocky as a costume. But did you look up the?
I pulled up the photo, and I really invite everybody at home just pull up the still from Creature from the Haunted Sea.
Yeah, hold up to your camera. I mean, you
Okay.
can tell people. Well, definitely look it up. But
if this
yes.
that's kind of what we had last time.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe a little better.
Wait, you think which is better?
The Leeches.
Okay. I love that the Creature from the Haunted Sea creature.
It looks like Creature from the Haunted Sesame Street.
I think that's why I love it, because it does just look like the reject Muppet they never made. It was Jim Henson's prototype, and he's like, well, I can never let the public see this because they'd be absolutely horrified. And that is how, that's how we end up getting the Creature from the Haunted Sea. Corman just bought a puppet that Henson didn't want. And
the man just loved to recycle.
Yep, he was a big proponent of recycling. Obviously, that's what this whole movie's about. But I mean, yeah, the I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for that Creature from the Haunted Sea creature, but I do think that in terms of like seeing these leeches on the attack, it's a more visceral image than like the Creature from the Haunted Sea. All it could do is just kind of like wrap its arms around somebody and then they cut, like can't move around too much. The ping pong balls are going to pop out. The Brillo pads are going to start floating to the surface. It'd be a mess. And but I think I think the leech costumes have been pretty serviceable so far,
especially for it's really not easy to just make a monster costume.
No.
Especially if you don't have like a bunch of money or somebody who knows how to do that.
Which is that's what I love about. I love that Corman was able to do that. I love that him and his associates were able, again, to just make a movie where
something together.
You're like, all right, well, we have the script, we have the actors, we have everything, but we don't have the most important part. Well, we can throw it together and we'll get the movie out, and that's not gonna. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the monster looks shitty. Like, it doesn't matter if we made it in 2 hours. We're gonna get the movie made and it's gonna be released. Like, that is just. It takes some gumption.
It does.
The word I don't use often, but it really does, to just be like, yeah, this will be fine. And I mean, apparently, I read some quote that just said that, obviously the Cormans knew that there's a cheesiness to it. Like, they were good. They had a good humor about all of it. Like, they kind of realized that, I mean, obviously, yeah, this looks like a person in a costume, but we're going to get this movie made and we're going to make our money back and then a nice profit. So what do we care? What do we, which is, I to an extent, I really do want to embrace that spirit, because there's still plenty of people out here today who will make a really crappy movie and they can put it up on Tubi and they're making ad dollars, you know? Like, that's all it takes to do. That's what I'm trying to do. But I have to get over my, like, oh, I have to make a really, finely, tuned movie. I mean, no, some people just,
Well, Garrett, it looks like you need to go buy some rain jackets.
I think that's the only solution. I think that's
all you need is $700,000.
It's not that's way outside my budget range. Okay, that's like 7 times more than I'm wanting to spend. No, I mean, I do find inspiration in some of these really cheesy monster movies, and I've always appreciated anybody that can make a monster costume and make it look halfway decent. Again, I tried to make a garbage man one time, and what I mean is a literal man made out of garbage. And I tried to make the costume. I was gluing garbage to the a chest plate, and I had things going, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
It's harder than you think.
It's harder than you think.
Next next Halloween, everybody try to make your own monster costume and see how hard it is.
I mean, yeah, but again, that's how some people find out that they have a talent for these things. A lot of the premier makeup artists of the 70s and 80s and 90s were people that grew up reading monster magazines where it would tell you how you could do a monster movie makeup. So then they do the makeup themselves and realize, oh, they have a talent for it. I mean, again, that's like Rick Baker, who did American Werewolf in London and all this other stuff. So there's something to be said for like the inventiveness of creating any kind of a monster. And again, that's where giant monsters are so unique, because again, it really was like mid 50s. You have the the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. You have Them, which is about giant radioactive ants, and then you have Godzilla, and then you just have, for the next 4 years, a steady stream of these giant monster movies in America. And of course, Godzilla sequels are coming out. But then, like literally, the year that this movie came out, tonight's film came out, 1959, they stopped producing for a year. There was, in America especially, they stopped kind of making them all together. But of course, Japan, it really became a craze. That's how you got the whole kaiju. I guess you could call it a subgenre. But kaiju is just kind of the Japanese giant monster catch-all term because a lot of these monsters are just kind of made up creatures just because like this is the suit they designed. So it's let's see, it's I mean, they just get some crazy things. And that was really as much as you got during the 60s, was a whole bunch of kaiju. And every once in a while, you'd get another country that would try to make a giant monster movie outside of Japan. So those are the trailers that we're going to get for this break. We've got, the first one is actually an early 1960s giant monster movie called Reptilicus. And it's out of Denmark, actually. It was a co-production between Denmark.
I'm Reptilicus.
Yeah.
I am Reptilicus. I am Reptilicus.
No, so actually the revival of Mystery Science Theater did Reptilicus, and I've seen that. And Reptilicus is a terrible movie. Because it's a puppet. Like, it's a string puppet that somebody is kind of like
marionette.
Yeah, it's what it looks like. Yeah, it moves around like a marionette that is being like not controlled very well, and it is some kind of reptile. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is some kind of weird thing attacking Denmark, and so. But it's so unique for that, because that's the only like I've never, I haven't really heard of many Danish horror films to begin with. So a giant,
they got the one where they got attacked by a puppet.
Yeah, a giant puppet. I mean, sign me up. So the first trailer we're going to get is for Reptilicus. And the second trailer we're going to get is for a kaiju film from the studio that made the Godzilla movies. And this has Godzilla, but it also has like all the other kaiju monsters up to this time. And it's called All Monsters Attack, or no, what is Destroy All Monsters. I think there's another one called All Monsters Attack, but this one is Destroy All Monsters. And it's like 8 different giant monsters. And each one's attacking a different city, and then I guess by the end they all meet up and fight to
Duke
the
it
death.
out.
Yeah, so of course Mothra's in there and some of the other more well-known kaiju monsters, but
Ghidorah, maybe.
yes, I don't know. I don't know if that was the same studio or a different studio. If it probably is something like it anyway. Because I think if one of the Japanese studios had a hit with a certain kind of monster, then the other studio would make a similar monster. There's so many Godzilla knockoffs. I mean, don't even get me started. But it's these are fun trailers. I mean, again, the joys of giant monsters. So it's a little sample of what you get after tonight's movie, which is more international cinema offerings for giant monsters. America was done with it by the late 50s. They were honestly, gothic horror was kind of seeing a revival at this time in America. And then obviously once Psycho hit, then you just start getting closer to the modern horror movie. But giant monsters are definitely a slice of B schlock goodness. So we're gonna enjoy these giant monster movie trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of Attack of the Giant Leeches. So stick around, we'll be right back.
It's a piece of skin, like leather.
From all corners of the earth they gather to study the mystifying frozen fossil, a reptilian tail that grows into a giant of terror.
It's alive! It's loose! You have been invited here to see for yourselves one of the most amazing events in the annals of scientific history.
Reptilicus, a monstrous, massive beast whose astounding appearance causes panic.
Reptilicus approaching the city. Repeat, Reptilicus approaching the city.
This is Grayson. All units. Reptilicus, an annihilating mastodon, immune to all known weapons of warfare, creating chaos such as mankind has never before known.
I would say nobody has anything to fear from us. But we are going to control you now. It is the same spaceship you saw near the moon. That should convince you we do not come from your world. We are here to make you our slaves.
From the laboratories and arsenals of all civilized nations, the most powerful, the newest, the most devastating of weapons blast into action in their effort to destroy all monsters.
Monsters, and we are back.
So much fun. We were just saying how much fun the guy who is stomping around the city, how much fun his job must be.
It is. I would love that, man. You're probably really hard to see out of that costume anyway. So
Yeah,
it is
kinda
like
by
you are
touch.
just, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really feel like a monster.
Just rampaging around. I'm a monster.
Oh God, that would be so fun. I would love that. Just, like you said, little city just crumbling under my giant green scaly feet. And then Reptilicus, Callie, that I mean, again, I didn't grow up on the original Mystery Science Theater, but I did enjoy the new Mystery. I watched like most of at least that season. I guess Reptilicus might have been the first one I saw, and I loved Reptilicus. First of all, it's a bad movie. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and again, I don't like to say things are bad, but it's pretty terrible. But it's still a lot of fun because it's just, again, isn't it the Little Mermaid? Isn't that the myth that comes out of or the story that I guess I should say comes out of Denmark?
Oh, is it?
Hans Christian
Okay.
Andersen.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that I believe. So
they got puppets and mermaids.
Yes,
That's what's going on.
Right. I think that there's definitely a connection there. There's some kind of correlation for sure. But yeah, I mean, and obviously giant monster movies in America have always kind of and there are obviously waves after this. I mean, in the 70s, you had a Godzilla remake that was big, and then so you had, I mean, obviously Jaws kind of
course
opened the door for monster movies, and that's where you get something like Empire of the Ants, which is like about giant ants, and which we saw a trailer for a while back. I mean, it was something that I think in the 70s kind of saw renewed popularity just because eco horror was such a big thing. And so since then, I mean, you always get
it pops up every now and I would you say Nope? It's kind of the monster is giant. I don't know if it's a giant monster.
I think that it is fair to call it a giant monster. And again, if you haven't seen it, I mean, by this point, I mean, I think it's
I don't think it's a spoiler to say it's
that it is that's what I would call it. Because you could also say that it's something from out of this world, to kind of be vague about it. But I mean, essentially, if you want to say that it's here and it's real, then it's some kind of giant monster, right? Like wreaking havoc on just one,
Yeah, instead of Tokyo, it's just
one house, a farm, which is, that's kind of it's so weird that the world is in an inverse right now, because that sounds like a plot that Roger Corman could have done back in the day on $70,000. And now you got Jordan Peele spending like $50 million, which even in Hollywood is considered mid-budget, pretty low, $50 million. Yeah. But that is it is so funny to think that Now that's kind of the way that Hollywood is it's they
A
don't make
lot of money moving around.
yeah, they don't make them like they used to. They certainly don't make giant monster movies like they used to with monsters destroying whole cities. I mean, I think you had the Pacific Rim movies, and I mean, obviously you've had these Godzilla remakes, and you've had there was like a Godzilla versus King Kong that came out like a couple years ago. I didn't see it.
I guess there's been like a recent kick of there was all the kind of recent Godzilla movies.
Yeah, I mean and obviously always in Japan. Like that's the thing. There have been many like Japanese movies really made for a Japanese audience about Godzilla that just weren't released in America in theaters in the way that they were. I mean, because even in this 50s 60s they were releasing these Godzilla movies in America with dubbing and with but they would kind of pick and choose. Not every Godzilla movie or every kaiju would get released in America. So man, again, some movies find distribution, some don't. It's a weird system. There's not it's mystical film accounting. Don't even get me started. But yeah, we're about to get into the exciting conclusion of Attack of the Giant Leeches, and I mean, up to this point, the mob is out there ready to hunt down these leeches.
Yeah, these leeches, they don't seem to be affected by bullets.
No, we found that out within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, real quick. So, do the leeches have a weakness? What's a real leech's weakness? Try saying that 5 times fast.
I guess if you can mess up its sucker.
Okay.
If you can find some way to
some kind of sucker seal.
Sucker seal it. Yeah, that's the new product coming from Scream Stream Enterprises, Sucker Seal.
But wait, there's more.
Evan's a great pitch man. We'll get him out there soon with the the blue Billy May style shirt, and if anything, Evan looks more like Billy Mays now than he ever did. It was one of our very first productions in high school was Evan playing a pitch man in the style of Billy Mays, God rest his soul. And now Evan's got the beard for it. He's really grown into his Billy Mays self.
I'm ready.
I think he is. I think he's ready to ascend to take on Billy Mays's his crown, basically. But we're still developing all the products. So,
well, I don't think Billy Mays made the products. Maybe he made some.
I think he might have made some. You don't work in the pitch man business without pitching some ideas yourself, right? Come on.
Billy Mays had his side hustle was he was also an inventor.
I mean, again, if you're seeing people make money from shitty products, you're like, well, I can do that too. Yeah. I can come up with that too. Like, come on, think of the ShamWow guy. Like, I think Billy Mays probably had his.
Who could have thought of a towel?
A towel that just absorbs maybe a little more, but not really. But I don't know. Because I never owned a ShamWow, and I didn't know any. I mean, again, as a former swimmer, I knew a lot of people that used. Do they call them chamois towels?
The chamois.
Yeah, like I knew people that had that. So like the idea of somebody just packaging that as like a ShamWow, like that didn't.
Right.
To me,
makes it more exciting.
What? You can get that anywhere. Like, what is it? So, don't even get us started about pitchmen from the early 2000s and
ShamWows and. I do have a good ShamWow story.
Oh, okay, come on, let's hear it.
Okay. So, one time I was at Carowinds, the theme park, and we were riding the it's not the log flume, but the river raft ride, the one where you sit in like a circle and you get splashed around.
Right.
So I was riding it with a friend, and you know, they pair you up with strangers, so you're just kind of in there with some randos.
Right.
And we got most of the way through, and like my friend, he looks at these strangers and he's like, "Don't worry, if you get wet, I've got a ShamWow," and he pulls the ShamWow out of his pocket. And it was like right after it came out.
Wow, look at
Everybody
this
got a good
guy.
kick
Cool
out of it.
guy over here with the ShamWow. Wow. That made me say, wow. I mean, that is absurd. I mean, you're always going to have those. Somebody's always got to be that guy, right? I get
Rocking
all
the
the
ShamWow. He was prepared.
He just had a big spree at the As Seen on TV store down there in Orlando and made sure it was the first thing he put in his cart. He got 5 of them. A good deal too.
So this is going to come in handy later at the theme park.
So you know, and thinking about, you know, how's this movie gonna end, I think they're gonna get a giant ShamWow. They're gonna throw it into the swamp. They're gonna be able to find the creatures and destroy their suckers.
We're going to destroy the Everglades once and for all.
Well, then, because then you just stand it out and you put all the water back.
Right,
and
right.
fine.
So
the water's not going anywhere.
Our environmentalist is happy.
It's absorbed into the towel. So it all makes sense. You just put it right back. It fixes itself.
Don't we have, like, isn't one of the characters an environmental scientist or something?
So you have the scientist, but then you have this guy who I think is some kind of wildlife, like, what do you call those guys? Ranger? Not a ranger. He's some kind of...
Oh, the game warden's not going to let you kill these giant leeches. They're not in season.
Yeah, that's him. And then you have the scientist and then the scientist's daughter. So, and they don't even know that it's leeches yet. So what are they going to do when they figure out it is I mean, let me tell you, we're in for a hell of a next 20 minutes because I don't know how they're going to, you know, go through all it's leeches. Oh, this is how you kill a leech.
Oh, great. We have no plan. We're just going to wing it.
I mean, that's the only. They're going to come up with the answer pretty damn quick.
Right. Yeah. These people know the weakness of leeches.
Well, you know, when you deal with gators most of the time, you just apply the same logic. It'll
gator,
work.
leech, the same
thing. Same thing. Well, on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Attack of the Giant Leeches right now. Woo, woo. God, what is it going to take for us to be a part of an angry mob? When can we walk around with our torches? When can we bring out our barking dogs? I want to know.
Garrett, have you watched the news today?
Oh, all right. We're going all the way down to Florida with our dogs and torches. I hope you brought enough fuel.
All clear.
Yeah, Sweet Feet, I think so. They were in the Pasadena Arboretum, so I think there's probably a time they had to be in and out of there by.
Is it supposed to be night, though? They got the torches.
Yeah, no, I think it is day for night. I think they're kind of trying to do a day for night thing, but I think obviously it's during the day. I think it's pretty dark. I might be filming at dusk. I mean, I know there was a bit earlier that was taking place at nighttime.
All right, let's keep moving.
It was hard to see anything. What did they make it? A gator cave? Oh no, they're on the shore.
Well, we can't do anything more tonight. Might as well start back.
I reckon ain't no use
there's our
hurrying now,
answer.
Mr.
But you
Devlin.
can see the sun
Reed and
shining
old Sam was alive.
off the
They let us know with a holler or something.
mop of
Yeah,
hair.
it kind of looks that way. You fellas notice anything about this
This
lake?
greaser
I mean,
over
the
here.
gators. They ain't.
See, I saw
Piece
his
of water
hair. I
this
didn't know
size
what to
usually
call it,
has
but then when I
maybe
saw the
50, 60
cigarette in his
big 'uns
ear,
around.
then I knew he was a
A whole lot of
greaser.
little ones. It's real unnatural. Well, maybe our torches scared them away. Nothing scares gators. Nothing. Animal or human.
I'm sorry, is this the actor who played
Well, we might as
Torgo's
well get out of
brother?
here.
I take care of the swamp while the leeches are away.
You got something in mind, Steve?
I keep thinking what Evans said about the gators. Nothing scares them, animal or human. And yet something made them leave. Maybe a mineral
The
contamination.
ecosystem has
Guess I
been
better run some
disrupted.
water samples.
Come on, you two. Drink your coffee.
Water samples. Oh boy.
And supposing there is no contamination.
Evan, you got a tight 20 on water
Well, then I'll
samples
send
for
over to
us?
Eastport for a diving rig and go down to look for this monster of yours.
No, Steve, don't even joke like that.
I'm not joking, man. I had some training with an aqualung while I was in the Navy.
But Steve.
Look, there are 2 bodies we know for sure down there. Maybe
Aqualung?
4. They've got
You
to be
got some
brought up.
Wait
Jethro
a minute.
Tull action up in here?
There are no alligators in that part of the swamp, right?
So?
No sign of any fish or snakes?
Well, it must be leeches.
No. Well, what are you getting at, Doc?
You have 20 minutes, so this
Well, there goes your argument about setting off a dynamite charge underwater. You'd bring the bodies to the surface.
Get it out of your mind, Doc. I'm not using any explosives as long as there's another way.
Why must you be such a...
They're not even going to figure
Stubborn
out it's
big head.
leeches. They're just going to
Exactly.
blow up.
I'll tell you why. Number
It
one,
would
there's
be
bound to be some
wild
aquarium
if
life
they
in that
just
section,
never-
even
like,
if the
these
bigger
are,
forms have
I
abandoned.
guess our heroes.
Yes.
Explosion underwater would destroy every living thing and wreck what nature took years to build up. Number 2, I'm paid to prevent the useless slaughter of
I'm
wildlife.
surprised that the scientist wants to
Number 3,
blow
I'd
up
have
the
to get
bottom
authorization.
of the swamp.
To get that
and it's
authorization,
the
I'd have to come
wildlife
up with a
guy.
heck
It's
of a
like,
good reason.
no.
Satisfied?
Finish up, Dad. I want to go home.
Scientists like blowing things
Steve,
up, right?
Oh,
how long will
yeah,
it take
bro.
to get this
Come
diving
on.
equipment from Eastport?
What do you think? There's
Couple
a
days,
whole
why?
science devoted to blowing stuff
nothing.
up and shooting things into the air. Rocket.
Take care of yourself, Steve.
Bye, Steve, you ass.
Bye.
Well,
I'm
here's
gonna go
hoping.
hang out with my friends at
Dad.
NASA.
Can't you throw the dynamite in from here?
No, I want to get it out into the middle, in the deepest part.
He's just going out on his own and doing it? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Great. Don't come with me or anything. I'll be fine. God damn it. Ooh, we got the dry ice going. Okay. We're so weak. We've lost so much blood. Got no blood left. All right.
If this works,
Time to light this dynamite. I don't like. I want to see this whole boat blow up like a miniature. Like,
oh, you're too late.
oh my god! I can't believe he did. The scientist did this. They didn't even. I didn't even have to say anything. Oh, I guess he knows.
Oh, what's he
Go
gonna
any
do
minute.
about it now?
That's an explosion on a Roger Corman budget right there.
Well, you know, it kind of worked.
Oh shit. Are they dead? I guess they're dead. Oh shit. Cal's definitely dead. I love the murky underwater photography.
I just can't figure it out. Walker's wife, why didn't her body come to the surface?
I don't know.
I think I better walk over to the coroner's office.
What's the matter, Mr. Benton? You feel awkward about arresting my father in his own home?
I warned him I'd arrest him if he used dynamite.
Ooh.
It's nice of you.
Well, the autopsy should be over by now.
Okay, I do like that. That's like a
Steve.
nice. He didn't just let him get away with it.
I don't like to have to do this, Doctor.
Do we have time for a cup of coffee first?
Sure.
You mind, honey?
Hey, before
No, I'll
before
make
you
some
arrest me,
sandwiches.
can I get you a drink? Yeah. Yep.
One
That's
thing
not
is
coffee.
certain, for all the good it'll do now. Dave Walker didn't shoot Cal. I just come from the autopsies. Covers tried to keep me out. I told him I'd raise a stink they'd smell all the way to the Capitol if he did.
Well, what killed them, Doc?
Good
Not
one.
drowning.
That was good.
And Cal wasn't shot either. Every drop of blood was drained out of their bodies. And they had wounds on
You
their throats.
telling me we've got
Suction wounds.
vampires living
Like a-
in Clearwater?
Like a gigantic leech might make. And there's something even more incredible. Now, Cal was supposed to have been killed several days ago. Sam and Reed have been missing
I guess if they
matter
know
of
that they
48
have
hours.
no blood, Leech is the only.
All three of them, as far as we know, are in that lake
Besides
a minimum
vampires,
of 2
of course.
days.
Right.
Now, I'd stake my reputation as a doctor that Cal hadn't been dead more than 2 or 3 hours when we found him. And the other 2 less than that. First stage rigor mortis started in during the autopsy.
But how could that be, Doc? It's impossible.
Fresh.
The coroner will confirm it.
R.I.P. Fresh.
Whatever killed him is still in that lake. And it's going to take more than dynamite to get it out.
Concussion from those charges would have killed a full-grown whale.
Oh, that I
explains
would
how
have liked
Cal
to
and the
have
others
seen.
lived after they were supposed to be drowned.
What do you mean?
Well, this whole region is riddled by caves and caverns cut out by the ocean thousands of years ago. If there are caves above the water, then there must be caves under the water.
Go on.
Mike and I had a chance to fool around with some frogman equipment captured from the Italian Navy. We sort of prowled through a sunken transport off Salerno. When the ship went down, it trapped some air inside the hull. We'd go down, come up inside the officer's lounge, take off her face mask, and sort of sample some of the bottles floating around.
That's
We
wild.
drive the guys crazy trying to figure out how we were getting the stuff.
You mean you
Yep,
think that
very
there's
safe. Go
an
down,
air pocket,
scuba
a
dive
cave
down.
underneath the lake?
Right,
Get
gotta
Schnocker,
be. How else could those people
come back
live down
up.
there? Not only that, it explains how, whatever it is down there, lived through the concussions.
Steve. Liz Walker. She might still be down there. Alive.
No, no, no.
She's alive.
I mean, that was just a very. They don't have much for her to do in there. Just say no, no, oh no. Do you not see that, or?
Just a big fish down there.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Who even is this rando?
You sure you don't want me to go down for you, Mike? You haven't had one of these things on for a long time, while me, every other day, I've been playing fish.
Not this time, Mike.
If you ask me, they ought to have their heads examined.
This
Giant leeches.
fucking sheriff, dude. I
I'm
hate
willing
this
to bet a
asshole.
month's pay they don't come up with nothing more than excuses. He's crazy. Him, the doc, and his brat, too. Just wait till I get on the phone to the Capitol. I'll guarantee somebody will wish they'd kept their nose out of other people's business.
You just say
I'll guarantee
guarantee.
Mike.
Steve.
Wait until I get on the phone with the Capitol.
Oh,
I'll
boy,
ask them
Mike
if
will
they
be ready if
smell
anything
this
goes wrong.
stink.
Don't worry about Steve. Now, if you were going after Barracuda, you might have a tiny bit to worry about.
Ready, Mike?
I mean, again, they've noticed the bubbles, right?
I'll get them Duke boys.
Yeah, he does look like Boss Hog. I don't understand the doctor's hat.
I like the checkered hat.
Yeah, but with just the white stripe across it, it's like they're covering up the logo or something with some white tape.
Not exactly inviting, is it?
That sure isn't.
Yeah, maybe we should just go back.
Oh, too cold. Something tells me you're not supposed to, like, just kind of plunge down head first when you got a giant tank on your back like that.
Do you
Stop
think
anything
they're
up to a tiger
do you think they're
shot.
doing the underwater
You got a hit.
photography
Misses don't
at the
count.
Arboretum?
Anything goes wrong, just yank on the line.
yeah,
I'll be down in a hurry.
I would think so. I don't know. This guy, freaking George C. Scott from Dr. Strangelove. He's being very over the top.
Oh, we've got our harpoon gun.
Okay, wait, well, yeah, what was it?
It was Wednesday nights. I've been waiting for that.
Okay, so you
Undersea Kingdom.
unexpectedly we got our harpoon gun. Not the way that we would have hoped, but I hope you feel some degree of satisfaction there, Evan. It's just so fucking murky. Ah!
There it is.
He just dropped the...
You sure you don't want me to go down and finish it off for you, Steve?
No, thanks, Mike. I think I heard it pretty bad.
Did
Yeah,
he?
but
I didn't
everything
even
hurts
see him
10
make
times the
contact
pain.
with it.
He's wounded it. He's gonna finish it off.
Well, I guess he did.
Does he have to go under again?
He's got to make sure, honey.
Where
Double
did it
tap.
come from?
I wish I knew. We'll have to make some tests. Maybe the proximity of Cape Canaveral's got something to do with it.
The rocket station?
Well, they use atomic energy in the first stages of launching.
Yeah, here
Not
we
all
go.
of them have been successful.
Finally.
You think that if some animal life was close by, not close enough to be killed, but close enough to feel the effects of a radioactive energy that...
A mutation. A type of gigantism of some common animal. Whatever it is, I hope he's able to bring it up.
I guess that's why it was only a 3-year craze, because eventually they're like, oh yeah, atomic radiation is not going to cause gigantism. The scientists tried it, it didn't work. The guinea pigs didn't become giant guinea pigs, so
They just died.
They just died. So, we can't make movies about this anymore. It's not plausible. Oh no. She dead. Oh. Oh, that's why she was like, she looked weird in the shot before. It looks like she's trying to like keep her dress down. It was like her dress was probably unexpectedly riding up there. Wow. Jeez.
Can't be Liz.
Bone dry.
What could have done that? Look at her face.
There's no point in looking anymore. Get out of there.
He's just after the glory. So he's wounded one, but I thought there were two of them.
There are two. Maybe they are filming these underwater scenes somewhere. It just looks like there's like they're filming through a very dirty glass or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh my God. Stab, stab, stab. Oh shit. Okay, double team. All right.
It's over. So we finally know the leech's weakness.
So that's all you gotta do is just stab him a bunch? Oh my God.
Oh, now it's gonna float
Look
up.
at that thing. I've been around here for years. I never saw nothing like that before.
Oh, come on. What? Nope, it's not gonna do it. Damn it. Well, they're dead. That's the end of the giant leeches. In Clearwater, Florida.
Did you say one person had to jump in to get the boat so it didn't like float off?
Of course. Improv, improv. So now he's all for dynamiting the lake.
I'm over it. Forget the environment.
Real 180-degree turn there.
There was no sign of them this time. They must be licking their wounds.
You sure you used enough stuff to do the job, Mike?
I used 100 sticks of 40%. Ought to blow the bottom right out.
Oh my God.
All right, let her go.
Okay, great.
Okay, everybody
Great.
stand back.
Help yourself.
You want to do the honors? Yeah, sure.
Wouldn't you though?
I mean, wow. Yep, that did it. Yeah. How many are there? Just the one? Oh, there's another one. We killed these two giant leeches. They look, it's paint on their arms, but it almost looks like they got little leeches on their arms. Uh-oh.
Sound.
Uh-oh! Oh, shit! Wait, what? No!
Question mark. Wow.
That was Attack of the Giant Leeches, but
they don't usually end like that.
Because that wasn't an ending. That was, what the hell?
It was a little abrupt.
It was incredibly abrupt. Like, I understand.
Not really any resolution, but I mean, I guess what else was there to wrap up?
No, but like I understand most horror movies put on a tag at the end where it's like, oh, but it's not quite the end, is
Yeah,
it? The
yeah.
monsters are probably still alive, but like,
The end?
but that with that, it didn't seem like conventionally the music swells, everybody's like, all right, it's over, we've defeated the monster, we go home, and they
Yeah.
say some witty quip and they
Kinda
walk
skip that
away.
step.
And yeah, because just going from they blow it up and the dead bodies are floating up, and then all of a sudden they're walking and you're hearing the noise and then it's the end, it's just like whiplash.
Yeah,
Like,
a
I'm
little bit of
sorry, wait,
whiplash.
what? Like, that's how we're ending? So that was Attack of the Giant Leeches, and overall I did like that movie, but that ending was just not what I was expecting at all.
Usually don't these old movies that we've seen, they don't really do that, right? I always think of that being a little more of like a modern thing where you have the hint that the monster is still alive, or there's something else out there.
I mean, we've seen a few movies on the show like that. I think you're right in that they're usually later movies from like the late 50s and the 60s and so on. Spider Baby, which was filmed in 64, was kind of a similar one where I think it does do that thing where it has the question mark beside the end because of the, it's like, oh, this curse is passed on. So I mean, we've certainly seen, I mean, I think maybe the most abrupt ending of a movie that we've seen was last season when we watched The Driller Killer. Do you remember how that literally ended as he is like getting ready to like he has snuck up on his ex-girlfriend, like
Oh, right,
she
yeah.
thinks she's getting in bed with her current boyfriend. She doesn't realize it's her ex-boyfriend who has been going on a killing spree, and like she walks into a room where the lights are out, and like you see her walk in and light from the hallway, but when she closes the door it's just dark, and she approaches him and then the credits roll and it's just like, wait, what? Like, so there's some that just end like before any proper resolution in a way like that was effective and chilling. But then you get some other movies where it's like, okay, well, we defeated the monster, but did we? And I feel like I know we've gotten some other ones like that, but off the top of my head, I could just think of Spider Baby and Driller Killer.
Yeah, I just think back to like all the kind of the old poverty row flicks that we've watched, where it's like they kill the monster and then they say, "Oh, we did it," and then that's it.
Right. They don't usually, bring back the monster for a final and it's actually still alive. Yeah, I think that's definitely more of a 50s, 60s, and later thing. I think in the 40s,
As a way to subvert, the previous few decades way of ending it, I guess.
Yeah, by the 40s, they still hadn't figured out that idea of leaving the door open or an open ending. That wasn't really part of the classic Hollywood styles. You put a nice tight bow on everything, and all is right with the world. Things are back the way that they should be. Everything that was right at the beginning of the story that's sent askew by the horror is, at peace by the end. That was the formula until like the 50s, 60s. Then you start getting these ambiguous endings. Ambiguous endings are always interesting. Sometimes they land, sometimes they don't. I think most people do appreciate when, there's that sense of comfort. Oh, they've defeated the monster, everything's okay. And then if you can do that last scare effectively, it is good, but sometimes it's just like, okay, yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. All right. of course, this isn't over. But this one just seemed abrupt to me, I
Yeah,
guess.
a bit abrupt. I mean, I guess it's not like not really that much of a surprise to think that there are more leeches out here in the swamp.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe like those dead ones were floating up, and they're like, but there's still. Yeah, I mean, there would be more than just two. You would
We gotta
think.
blow up the entire Everglades.
Yep, you've gotta start buying your dynamite in bulk. Just go to your local big box store and you get your 100 pack of dynamite and you'll be all set. Oh, Callie, I can't believe YouTube is doing that to us. My stream information is showing all good, so I did not know that YouTube is throwing us out like that, but thank you. I appreciate you letting us know. Yeah, I'll investigate and I'll try to make sure that we are all good next time. But if we ever go out on YouTube, we're always on Twitch. So if you got to get your public domain horror fix in, you can just go on there, make an account. It's really easy, and we're there too. We are multi-streaming. But yeah, so that was Attack of the Giant Leeches, and it was an enjoyable film overall.
It really wasn't a bad movie.
You gotta appreciate any blood-sucking monster. I thought,
a bit cheesy. It was schlocky.
It fits the bill of the entire season, so couldn't have asked for anything more than that. And it was. Again, it was a return to things that we haven't had in a while. Giant monsters, Corman, all these things that we've had pretty healthy doses of over the past 5 seasons, but it's been a while, so good to get back to our roots in a way. But again, giant monsters were certainly a product of the post-atomic age, the post World War II era. And, before that, monsters were very much gothic. But like I said, the giant monster craze really ended in America around 1959. And gothic horror really had an upswing. Obviously with Hammer horror films, which were, plays on Dracula, Frankenstein, but in color with blood and sex and all these things that horror movies, the gothic
Frankenstein, but he's sexy.
Yes. Christopher Lee, very sexy Frankenstein. No, they didn't have Frankenstein's monster. I apologize. They didn't. Peter Cushing is a sexy Frankenstein. They didn't have a in the black and white movies. They didn't really have a lot of boundaries that they could push. Certainly Bride of Frankenstein pushes some boundaries, but outside of that, it was pretty restrictive. So in the 1950s you got gothic horror, and it's just different from the sci-fi more sci-fi tinged horror, and I'm a gothic horror guy at heart. So it's perfect because next week's film is a early 60s gothic horror film, and it deals with one of our old school classic monsters. Of course, I'm talking about the werewolf.
Hey.
Because next week's film is titled Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory.
Who let this werewolf in there?
Yeah, it's obviously the headmaster isn't doing their job. It is like I said, an early 60s film, and that's the American title, Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory.
Is it in color?
It is in black and white, and it is an Italian film, which in Italy is titled Lycanthropus, but the American distributor titled it Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. And they gave it a fun little title song called I'm trying to remember that. I'm getting confused on the name. That's why I got tongue tied there, because it's called A Ghoul. There's a Ghoul in School. I've heard the title song in, preparing the episode for the season. And it's just obviously a distributor that tacked on an exploitative title and a cheesy monster novelty song from the late 50s, of which there were many in the vein of Monster Mash. Monster Mash, I can't even begin to describe to you what a huge hit that was and what it became. This whole subgenre of surf horror rock. It's just kind of a weird thing. But we're going to be enjoying that next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's we always like to offer at least one international film every season. So Italy has made a lot of interesting horror films, of which there are a fair amount in the public domain. So this will be our first one. And eventually we'll get Lady Frankenstein and Adam Age Vampire. Again, there are a fair amount. So it's perfect for our summer of schlock, because a werewolf in a girl's dormitory. I mean, come on. Does it get any schlockier than that? It actually has some artful shots and some pretty horrific shots. There's actually some cool stuff in this movie. So you can catch it next Friday at 9 p.m. Of course, we have our mini-sodes every Wednesday at 9. And this season, we are watching the Hollywood serial Undersea Kingdom.
Hanging out with Crash Corrigan.
You can spend some quality time with Crash Corrigan. The actor's name and the character's name. It's the same.
He's playing himself.
He's playing himself. And it has been a pretty fun serial so far.
It's been wild.
We had a lot of fun with the second chapter earlier this week.
Had robots and tanks and a bunch of horses running around.
Yeah, all these seahorses, because we're under the sea, but we're in we're in another layer of Earth that
kind of an air pocket.
An air pocket that was undiscovered.
Beneath the ocean floor or whatever it was.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. So it's been a lot of fun so far. So we'll be in our third chapter next week. So you can join us Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern for the next chapter of Undersea Kingdom. And of course, we will be back next Friday with Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. You can follow us over on the socials at Screamstream Show. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Screamstream Show. And now we're on TikTok at Screamstream Show. So you can go follow us there. You can find me over on Twitter at Spakenstein. Find Evan over on Twitter at Caligari Cursed. Of course, Mr. Fresh Rogan not with us tonight, but you can find him on all the socials at Fresh Rogan. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in tonight. Our good friends S-Sync, Sweet Feet, Callie, Protect the Tigers. Always good having our friends hanging out in the chat and helping us enjoy these movies. They were the way they were meant to be enjoyed together. So that's why we do the show. So thanks everybody so much again for watching tonight. It was a lot of fun. Anything before we sign off tonight, Evan?
I'm gonna go soak my head.
Until next time, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.